Father, he waits.
Much to learn, much to teach. There are dangers beyond our village.
What a wonderful day!
Help your father!
My family. I will find them. I will bring them home.
To survive, remember your strength, your compassion, your mercy.
Why do they hunt her?
She knows the human secrets.
I have a name. May. I know where they're taking your clan.
You chose a human over an ape.
This was a human place.
It is not yours!
It is now, isn't it? The elders did not tell us everything about this world.
Nor bend for your king.
Never.
Get tickets now.
Boom, there you go. That was the trailer for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, arriving in theaters on May 10th. It's your boy Cootie P. This is Nerds Rule the World, and joining me are a pair of fellow local DC area film nerds. I'm so excited to have these guys on. We've been talking for a while to get together, so shout out to these homies. First up, I got my man from the Peace Review. I hope I didn't mess that your channel up. My man John Jones, not to be confused with the Martian Manhunter. How are you, John?
Good, man. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Pleasure, sir. And of course, the man who I met through the Martian Manhunter, John Jones, who's been in my area for a while. It's a pleasure to have this guy on board as well. He's been killing it. My man, Anthony Francis from the Movie Review. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Again, it's a pleasure, man. We link up the few moments we can right before screening. So to now really chat about a film is exciting. So I appreciate you guys, man. Let's talk about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I just showed the trailer. It's arriving this Friday as of this recording on May 10th. Let's talk familiarity before we get into the story and our thoughts and everything. Were you guys big Planet of the Apes guys? I think I was talking a little bit with Anthony before we got watching this film this past week, before we screened it. Are you a Planet of the Apes guy? Were you into the 60s, 70s series, the precursor series, and now this new generational series?
Yeah, big time. Giant fan of and was raised on the original Planet of the Apes series. Loved the show as a kid. I'm not sure how I would feel about it now, but I'd love to rewatch it. And really had zero. I was angry when I heard they were rebooting it back in 2012, 13. And I was blown away by the first two and really loved the third one. And I'm a huge fan. That's the way you reboot a series.
I have a question though. And actually right before I get to you, John, when you and I were talking, I was remembering the sequence of events, of the history of the franchise, because this was based off of a book initially, and then it became a cinematic series. There was a Tim Burton one in between the three.
Yeah, there was.
So
Hey, let me just say about that one. The Apes stuff in the Burton one, fantastic. And the other thing good I can say about that one, the Apes stuff is fantastic. Yeah, that one didn't work so well.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
was
the
like,
garbage that people said it was, but it didn't work.
yeah, I wouldn't say it was bad, but it was okay. It's not
Yeah.
what we got later. But yeah, when we were talking timeline, that kind of I was like, hold on, didn't we have this? And then there was Dawn, because you were telling me kind of like placement wise in regards to titles. So anyway, John, were you a fan of the Planet of the Apes franchise before this?
Well, it's funny because right before we walked in, Anthony was telling me about how he was such a big fan of Wahlberg and how that movie changed his life.
I'm suing. I'm
I-
suing for defamation.
No, but the original ones, I didn't get too deep into the original ones. I did like the remakes though. So like once the original, not the original, but the updated one, the last one we saw with like James Franco and like the origin story of Caesar, like that really captivated me, and so I've been with it since that one.
Awesome. So
Yeah,
so bit of a fan, but not a super fan. If
not a super fan, but a fan though. Yeah.
okay.
I'm somewhere in between fan and super fan on the reboots.
Okay. Got it. All right, guys. So thank you for that. For me, not a super fan, somewhat fan, familiar. I like kind of like the social commentary that they kind of imbue into it a little bit, but also to a certain extent that kind of pushes me off from it in certain ways, which is weird because I'm all about utilizing the entertainment platform to talk on subjects that we aren't comfortable to talk, as a people. So it's a way to just kind of get that going. So Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, real quick, briefly on the story. I don't want to spoil for any of the people that haven't seen it yet. We have this coming off the tail of the Caesar story that we had from the precursors. And it's, I think, about 500 years, was it, guys?
300.
300 years post Caesar. I will say we open with the death of Caesar to bring this on. That's hopefully not too much of a spoiler, but I think people know that we got to come off of that story to tell this story. And there's this new monkey clan, ape clan, excuse me. Maybe that's not even appropriate. I don't want to be using like, mislabeling people and people getting like, that's wrong. We have this new clan that works with eagles to catch fish and hunt and do other likes. Really cool new look at this ape universe. We're expanding out the ape universe with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. While that's going on, there's some rituals that I feel that when they come of age that they're getting ready to do that we're presented, which I think is also cool to expand out, what these cultures are creating in this universe. That then leads into another clan, if you will, a kingdom of some bad apes bringing their ways into our group and then changing the way of life in this new universe. We also have this human that you see right here come into the picture, but I want to say this is more of an ape film, more so that I think since the previous films, that was an interesting introduction. But yeah, it's a straightforward story. I'm trying to avoid spoilers in my thoughts here. But I think if you're a Planet of the Apes fan, this fulfills that. And if you're not familiar with the Planet of the Apes franchise, I think this will bring as a good starting point for new fans to enter. Those are my quick thoughts on the story. Let me go back to you, Anthony. What did you think of the overall story that were presented, and anything that you can add to what I kind of briefly gave?
That's fine. No, I loved all the Eagle Clan stuff. I loved the thought of I knew there was going to be bad apes coming. I like how they were masked. I like they were led by the big gorilla, which in all apes films, good or bad, the warriors are always led by the big gorilla. I liked the story that the film raised, or set up, I should say. Excuse me. But I don't think that it had enough meat, if you will, to carry it through the 2.5-hour running time. One thing, now, first of all, I should start it out by saying I gave this a positive enough review ish. But I thought by the first hour, I've seen a lot of climbing and running and running and climbing and climbing and running. Where are the battles? Where are the fights? I'm ready for that. For me, the one, and this is not a spoiler, the one really big, exciting action sequence was where the apes show up in that field and are chasing the humans to catch them in nets. But ultimately, that scene is an homage in the way it's done and in the score in that moment to the original 1968 Planet of the Apes.
Oh, wow.
So while it's great, I mean, it's exactly once Charlton Heston lands and meets the other humans and they're in an open field and they're chased by apes with nets. And so I get it. It's an homage, and it was a great homage. And for me, the most exciting moment of the film, but it's just an homage. There were no, for me, like I wanted more hand-to-hand stuff. I like the attack on the Eagle Clan village. That's also not a spoiler. It's in the trailer, I believe. But overall, I like the film. I think it could have been a little shorter, and I don't mind long films.
Right? I felt the same.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Excuse me.
No, I'm sorry. I felt very much the same. There was a thing that came out recently about the perfect time for a film that was put out by somebody. I forgot who said it. And I think they said like an hour and a half.
Hour and 45. I read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I disagree. You know what I'm saying? I think to each their own. You know,
if you have a story, let it fly.
Exactly.
If you don't have a story, don't try to stretch it out. And I think that was this film's downfall. Not complete, but downfall was we don't have a lot going on, but let's just we'll stretch it out. We'll give them a chase here and a this there and a this there. Yeah. And very quickly, and I won't say what it is or why, because this would be a spoiler. I thought the final act, the big finale, it was underwhelming. It was underwhelming.
Yeah. How about you, John? What are your thoughts on this story that we got presented in this one?
Man, okay. So the final act that he was talking about, it was very underwhelming. And then specifically, so I'm going to specify the range of time as to not reveal any spoilers. So when Noah has the last little bit of talk with the human, I was royally pissed after that. And I was just like, okay, now I'm angry because I don't like this. Overall, I think the movie was I think it was gorgeous visually. So like VFX, costume design, set production, like it was beautiful. And if you read the production notes, Wes Ball, like that was one of the things that was important to him was like shooting on location. I think Anthony, you and I talked about a little bit, like the locations and then adding the VFX to the locations and things like that.
It was seamless.
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
It was beautiful. I mean, like one of the moments that you talked about, Anthony, was I thought that was beautiful about how whether it's in real life or in a movie, the part where you were talking about where they chased the humans, even though they were at a water hole, that was like the one peaceful moment out of everything. Just like in real life, you watch all those animal documentaries, you could have predator and prey be in the same place. They did a water hole, but that was like the one neutral site that everyone could be at. And
Switzerland.
Exactly. a Switzerland, so to speak.
The Ape Switzerland.
And we got to see that for a handful of seconds before things went awry. But I am not a fan. I'm not a fan of May. So I don't want to jump ahead of myself if you want to get to good things, bad things. But yeah, whenever you're ready for the bad things, I'm ready to unload on May.
If I could very quickly piggyback on what he said, because we did speak about it after the film. I think that, and this includes all the originals, including the reboot. I think this is the best looking of all the Apes films. It is gorgeous. It is
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous. And what you said, what we all said, the seamless combining. They use CGI the right way. You get the apes' faces, and you shoot in real locations, with the exception of a couple sets, which you had to have. And you just color it with CGI. You amp it up. You enhance it. And I just think visually, it's the most beautiful of any Apes film I've ever seen.
I completely agree. I'm with you on all of those points, and I feel you, John. We'll get into that now in just a second with the cast and
He's chomping
negatives,
at the bit.
positives. But I just want to go back with what you said, Anthony. I think this is the story, the overall story. I think is a good story, but yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't want to say editing. I think it's long and it's great for the fans that really want to feel themselves in this universe. It just may not be for everybody. And I'm glad I didn't drink a lot of soda, because I would have been getting up quite a bit, because you do feel it. But I like that. Again, I ever since that dude came out with that this is the best optimum length, I'm totally against that. Because as a creative, I want to be able to tell my full story and present it in such a fashion and make you just become a part of this universe. Maybe down the road, like with episode 2 or 3, if they get into other projects with this, maybe edit it up a little bit to just make sure the story is super tight. Here, as an introductory film, if you will, in this new universe or new tale within this universe that we're telling, I'm okay with it for the length of time. But I think you and I, we kind of felt it. But I think the super fans are this is, I think, meant for them. So why not give them that time?
Maybe.
But for the general fan,
maybe.
like it might be a little much, and they could have chopped it up a bit.
I wanted more from the king. The king just yelled a bit, walked around the table, and that's really it. Like, what makes him king? There's enough apes to overthrow him and his minions.
Even the human in a little bit too, right?
Yeah.
Like, why did she initiate the snooping at first? She just kind of came in there. But I'm trying to avoid spoilers. But
it's hard, man.
I feel John's point too at the very end, because there was a certain visual that we saw
I was angry.
Kind of got me a little bit. But let's talk about this cast. I was just looking briefly at some of the actors we got in here. First off, our lone human. Well, there's other humans in here, but the main cast, May was played by Freya Allan. Also, William H. Macy makes an appearance as another human that is under the captivity of our bad guy villain ape, played by Kevin Durand.
Kevin Durand, an actor I like.
Yes.
I like him a lot.
Badass. Really like that he got the lead role too. I generally, he's kind of one of those kind of sidebar guys. They don't really give him that, that push to main villain status. I love that they did that for him. Owen Teague plays our lead hero, Noah. We also have Peter Macon, who I'm not familiar with, plays Raka.
The performance of the film for me. Raka.
Was Raka the orangutan?
The orangutan, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. I thought he was.
That's some of the cast.
Yeah. I liked Owen Teague. I was trying to figure out with Anthony and my wife afterwards where I knew Owen Teague from, but it's the hair. So I actually remember him from It, except he had long hair in It. He was It.
That is him.
I'm looking at it now. Okay.
Right. Now I can see it. Yeah.
I knew him from It. But I thought he did an excellent job in this.
He was fine. I thought the character could have had a little more oomph to him. In my soon-to-be published review I got behind today, I mentioned that there's kind of a dramatic hole, and it's not Teague's fault. I blame the screenplay. Look how strong Caesar was written in the first 3. Just so many dimensions. And I didn't feel that Noah had too many dimensions. He was the normal wide-eyed, he's got to grow up fast and lead a revolt, and that we've seen 1,000 times. And I don't think the screenplay brought anything new to that. That said, Teague was fantastic.
Agreed.
I liked him a lot.
I'm looking at the cast list real quick. I'm trying to figure out who is our enforcer for Proximus. And I'm not.
I
seeing
looked
that
it up on IMDb, and they haven't listed him yet, or they haven't listed the character yet, because there's a lot
Yeah.
of names with no
because I
characters.
really like the enforcer guy.
He
That
was
kind
really
of,
good.
you
He
know,
was really good.
and then the battle that with that character later on, that was interesting. Probably one of my favorites, along with Proximus, and there was some
I
stuff
had
there.
an issue with that.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, just what you just spoke about, the battle, that you spoke about.
Oh, between the big monkey and Noah?
Yeah.
Or the one that where with the birds,
Toward,
the eagles. if
no,
you will.
not that one.
Okay.
That was all right, I guess. But
Yeah.
no, the previous one with the gorilla. I of course we can't speak to anything. I will just say that I wanted a big, maybe I was raised on the movies of John Milius and Walter Hill, but I wanted a big, come on, and it was just kind of what it was, how it ends.
I feel that, but because we know how, I don't want to spoil. I thought it made sense. I see your point.
Yeah.
But I thought in here, because of he uses wits, he uses intelligence over.
No, I understand that.
It was
yeah.
brute
that
strength
was
against
good.
intelligence. Yeah.
And I will say, I'll just say this, and that'll explain my issue with the final act as a whole. The screenwriter also wrote Avatar 2: The Way of the Water, which I absolutely loved. But I will just say this to you so we won't spoil. Now do you see my problem with the final act?
I got
Do you remember the final act of Way of Water?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
He actually kind of did some of those moments in a way.
That's what I'm saying. He plagiarized himself.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into our overall review, guys. We talked about the story. We talked about some of the cast. Now let's get into our overall thoughts. I'll lead us off, I guess, if you will. I enjoyed the film, but I'm not in love with the film. Again, it dragged in different respects. It's slow, but I'm happy that it exists for the fans, because I had so many friends and colleagues that were like, man, I'm really looking for the Planet of the Apes, because they're Planet of the Apes people. I know when I'm looking for the Marvel films, like, yeah, I'm everything. I'll take all of it. It don't even matter. And there's a lot of Marvel films and series as of late that a lot of people don't like. I love them. So I'm happy that this is there for those super Planet of the Apes fans. But I don't think it's going to be for everyone. I don't know if it was a big of an action blockbuster, to your point, Anthony, because there really wasn't a lot of action. It has its moments. I think I don't even know if it's worth the IMAX, and as you see above me, 4DX ticket, if you will. I don't know if if there was a spectacle enough for that, like the Fall Guy is in a lot of respects. But they did do a damn good job. It is the best looking Planet of the Apes film, to also your point in regards to its visual appeal. But overall, I'm glad it exists. I think this is a great new jumping off point for where they are going to go now. And from reading, and I think you said this too earlier, this is now in the time period of the OG Planet of the Apes series. The other stuff with precursor stuff. Now we're living in that time period. So could they bring in whatever name of that, was it Charlton Heston? Do we have today's Charlton Heston crash land on this new Planet of the Apes? I don't know. But I'm curious to see where they're going to go with it. And I think they set up a good foundation going forward with this franchise. Let me throw it to you, John. Let me throw it back to you, because I know you had some thoughts. And
Man, okay. First thing, real quick, we were wondering, because I looked it up. Actually, I found it on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes wiki. So that enforcer ape, his name was Silva, and that was played by Eka Darville.
Thank you for looking that up.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll have to add that to my review.
Dude, I looked it up for my review, so that's the only reason that I know. Yeah, so I know traditionally in the movie industry, people give stars however many out of 5. I do most of my ratings, though, out of 10. So I gave it an 8, which I guess would probably be like 3.5 out of 5 stars, pretty much. To your point, and I hate to sound like we're copying each other, but it is a good film. It just wasn't spectacular. It ran too long, and I didn't like May. May was so horribly done that you could have taken May out of the story, and the story wouldn't have been affected at all. It would have been the exact same thing because of, like she was, I I want to say she didn't have a presence, and I was I was triggered because I saw the same constant trope of pacifying those who are suffering for the greater gain of the person who's talking, and she did that multiple times. Like Noah even asked the question, so what are we supposed to do? Go back to being silent? And then it was dead silent. And she was like, I got to do what I got to do. And I was like, okay, I'm stage 2 triggered now. Now I'm stage 2 because she had did it once before that. And so, then it happens because there's not a relationship like we see in the first one. Like when I brought up James Franco, Caesar, James Franco were like this. And then as Caesar grew more with wisdom, like they came to a mutual understanding, like, I'm going to go, but I respect you for what you did for me, like type deal. So there was mutual respect, love. He kept his picture and all that stuff. Here, this is more like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. There's no this. There's no, I don't feel it at all. It's not expressed at all. It's more like, it felt more like Goldilocks. Goldilocks was the little white girl that went snooping around. Guess what? She snooped in someone's cabin, went through all their stuff, and then dipped. Here, what's she doing? Going around snooping in the forest.
That is
Copy
so
paste.
Right.
Yes, it bothered me a lot. I'm sorry. It bothered me.
That's sadly perfect.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, outside of that, it was fine.
Besides that, Mrs. Lincoln, how'd you like to play? Yeah.
All right. How about you, Anthony? What do you think?
Not as harsh, but I think we all agree the same way.
Yeah.
I do want to throw in my little thing on May. I fully concur with everything he said. I was underwhelmed by the actress. I was underwhelmed by the character as written. And I'm glad you said that. You could remove her, and there would be no pothole. It would just keep on trucking.
Yeah.
I basically am in agreement with everybody here. It's not a perfect film. Really quickly, speaking to what you said about the connection between Caesar and Franco's character, at the end of that first film, the only one Franco was in, Rise, he's saying something, or he's hugging Caesar. They're hugging, and he doesn't know the apes can speak yet. And he's like, I'll take you home. I don't remember the exact line, or we're going home. And he just, no. And the look on Franco's face, and it just sends chills. They were building up to that dramatic moment. And that moment hits emotionally. It's powerful. And it also announces the second one should have been called Rise, because that's when they rise, but the rise of the apes in the second film. And it's just a beautiful moment. It's so powerful. There's no moment like this here. There's no emotional connection for me to the apes or the characters, but I like them. And but the movie is visually striking. The score was pretty good. The computer effect, motion capture, flawless. Like we all said, the most beautiful looking of all the Apes films. It's not a bad film, so I won't give it a bad review. If I did, I'll quote my heroes, Siskel and Ebert. I worked for Roger Ebert, that's another story. But when they would be iffy on a film, they would say, marginal thumbs up. So that's where I am. I am excited to see where we go now, though. I'm not. I'm not giving up, and I would never say, if I'm speaking to someone about the reboots, I would never say, except for that stinking Kingdom of the Planet. It's not a bad film. It just, for me, has a lot of problems and is lacking dramatically. And I wouldn't mind a few more battles.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And if this is now where we're headed at, I like this new time period. It just shows that there's so much more stories to tell within this universe. And if they can just clean it up a little bit, shorten it up a little bit, make sure it's tight.
Tighten it up.
Tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, come on.
It's gonna be long. Let them fight some more. That's
exactly as they said in Godzilla. Let them fight.
Let them fight. Exactly.
What if they bring back this May lady, John? What do you got to say about that?
May's probably coming back.
Look. I'm gonna put it just like I did in my review. to me, I feel the same way with this that I feel about Jurassic Park. They're going to make another one. I'm going to go see it. It don't matter. I'm going to go see it.
Okay.
I'm going to see it. So if they bring her presenceless character back, I'll still see it. It's okay.
Yeah.
love it.
What they're going to do with it. Like, you better give us more, or else like you're really going to be the downfall of this franchise. Like, do something.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I was nice this time, but if she comes back,
We're going to be more critical. Nice.
This
Cool.
is you being nice to May. Oh my gosh.
This is me being nice.
And I'm harsh in my reviews. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys, there you go. Those are our thoughts, our feelings, our vibes on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, arriving in theaters on May 10th. Before I get up out of here, let me again shout out my two amazing guests from the Peach Review, John Jones. Where can they find you at online? I'm gonna again include links to your channel and everything in the description below. But for those that might be driving and listening to this right now, how can they check you out online?
Everything is at the Peach Review. So Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube channel, everything is at the Peach Review.
.com.
And then our website's thepeachreview.com.
There you go.
There you go. Shout out to John Jones, not to be confused with the Martian Manhunter, which I just
Or the
everybody.
fighter.
I just learned this today. Just kind of picked off today, even though I've known this guy for a while. I'm like, I should have my nerd card revoked. I should have just immediately. This is the Martian Manhunter guy.
I want you to mention it every podcast.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Shout out to John. Anthony, the movie review. How can everybody check you out online? And again, I'll have Anthony's links in the description below as well, y'all.
Themoviereview.com, screencomment.com, and I am now a staff writer and editor at filmthreat.com. So
Hey,
you can find my stuff there as well.
awesome.
Come one, come all.
There you go, y'all. Much love to my pal Anthony and John. Please go check him out. Again, scripts, links in the description below. It's your boy QEP. Your honors rule the world. Check me out as well. Again, links in the description. We'll have another review up, more interviews, all the things on the channel, and hopefully I'll bring these guys back as well to have some fun together again.
I'd love to be back.
Love to be back.
Appreciate you guys. Everybody, nerds rule the world. John Jones, Anthony Francis, your boy QEP. Nerds rule the world. All right, there's a cut. What's up, y'all? Your boy QEP. Nerds Rule the World just got out of the press screening for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes here at the Regal Majestic. Initial thoughts coming out of it. If you're a fan of the Planet of the Apes franchise, you're gonna dig this. If you're not a fan of the Planet of the Apes franchise, you'll probably still dig it too. It doesn't have, you don't have to come in with any pre-context. It's a straight up story, civilization, after like the apes, and now there's this new ape clan trying to come up, and something happens and they're trying to find each other again. Straightforward, easy to follow story. It's a little long, so you may not want to be drinking a lot of drinks. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm not in love with it, but I had a good time. But it's out now, coming very soon this weekend, y'all, as of this drop. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. All right, y'all. I'll have a full review coming up very soon. Your boy KP, Nerds Rule the World.